Bob Alsop with ShopSabre CNC. Around here they call me RouterBob. I've got a really exciting video to share with you, and I think you're going to be really impressed. This is a new model we created at ShopSabre CNC. It's called the IS series. IS means industrial series. And I think you're going to be tremendously impressed with how this thing is designed. It's truly a machine tool. This particular model is a 6 foot by 12 foot, so it's called an IS 612. I'm really excited about this. You know, people ask me all the time, how do you judge the machine tool, the quality of the machine tool? And it's really kind of easy. I start first at the frame, and I start before that at the material. What's the material made out of? We use structural steel tubing. Now, the reason for that is structural steel tubing, which is the same material bridges are made out of, actually is very predictable in characteristics. And because of that, then we can use software to actually design the machine frames and evaluate all the loads right there on the computer. So that's the first place we start. We also, if you notice, we use thick tubes. We don't use thin stuff. And once again, that all comes out of the computer simulation stuff. The next thing, once you determine the material, the next thing you look at is how is it assembled, and the best frames are going to be all welded. And that's what we do. So the base frame on an IS series is all welded, and that gives you a tremendous frame, and that ensures that you have really good accuracies and great edge finishes. You know, one of the other things I like to look at whenever I'm evaluating a machine design or frame design is what does it look like where I'm not supposed to see? I call this looking under the hood. So let's take this panel off and see what the inside of the frame looks like. You know, it's really neat when you look inside of here. Welding is a very highly skilled trade, and their weld is their signature, and you can look at this and you can tell the person that welded that was very proud of what he does to this machine, because it looks as good on the inside as it does on the outside. Now, once we have the base frame and the gantry welded, there's another step that we do. First, because the welding process generates heat, we do stress relieving so that all the stresses are released. Then these components actually get machined in a single setup on an aerospace mill. Now, here's what that means. Every surface that a ball screw mounts on or a guide rail mounts on is machined, the holes are drilled. When you do it in a single setup, then that component picks up the accuracy of the aerospace mill itself. That's how you build a quality machine tool. While we've got the hood open, let's talk about vacuum, because this is a vacuum table machine, and this is a great time to talk about what it takes to make that work. First off, you have to have a good enough vacuum pump to hold the parts that you want. Second, you have to get that vacuum distributed to the table. So the first issue is how big is the line? And so what we start with is a 4-inch tube that feeds from the pump directly to this chamber. And we've actually created that chamber from a frame member, which is very creative. Then from that, we have our vacuum outlets, and you notice that those are all large, and they also have smooth insides. So that gives us the maximum vacuum possible that pump can produce for this machine. Okay, the other part of the frame actually is the gantry itself, and let's stop and talk about that a little bit. First off, on the IS series, this gantry is structural steel, just like everything else is. And it's interesting because I referred earlier to computer design. We actually do all the engineering for the machines here that we build. And so we use a package that works on the solid model of the machine called FEA, or finite element analysis. And it basically lets us apply loads to the design, and we know where any weak or strong points are. So before we ever make a frame, it's totally engineered. So we know we have the right guide rails, we know we have the right spacing, everything's going to work together, and that's how you produce a really good machine tool. You know, now, once you get the frame components made, then they have to move, and they move on precision ground contour guide rails. We use those on all the axes, and that really ensures that the movement's very smooth and there's no play in them. And that's typically one of the qualities of a really well-made machine tool. So the next thing I look at is what actually makes the machine move, so what drives the movement. And it's really interesting. I get a lot of questions of people come up and they say, well, what's better, a ball screw or a rack and pinion? Well, you know, they both work, but I have a simple answer. They don't use rack and pinions on metalworking mills. Our design criteria is to produce a machine tool grade router, so we use ball screws. Okay, now we use precision ball screws in all the axes. Now, what makes that turn? Well, the drive motors make those screws turn, and we use a system we developed that features Mitsubishi servo motors, and they're really oversized, and the same thing Mitsubishi drives. So that's what gives the machine its speed and why it moves so quickly and has so much power cutting. It's those motors driving the rest of that component system. Now let's go take a look at the other part, the other end of the motor system, and that's the machine control. You know, the other part of the machine control system is actually the operator interface. And we developed a special ShopSabre CNC control interface, and we based it on some really solid control technology and architecture, but we wanted to make it easy to use. Because one of the things you have to worry about, you know, you can have the best machine tool in the world, it's got all the components, but if your operator has to have an engineering degree, you're probably not going to be very happy. So we developed this control with a single screen. All the functions you need are there. You can edit code. You can actually program on the screen if you wanted to. And that's worked out to be a very, very nice feature. And oh, by the way, you also have a Windows computer here, so you can run your software if you want to. You can run your cabinet software. You can run a VCarve Pro or any of the designs right at the machine. That's a tremendous feature. You know, when we designed the IS series CNC routers at ShopSabre, one of the things we wanted to do was make it real easy for customers to use the table. And for one thing, we wanted to be able to fly cut the table so that way you know it lines up with the machine. But we also made it wider. Now, to give an example, this is a 6-foot by 12-foot machine. It's actually 7 feet wide. So on the x-axis, you have 7 feet. All right, it's actually almost that extra foot in the y-axis. If you buy a 4-foot by 8-foot, think of that. You buy a 4 by 8. It's got 5 feet really, so now you can, on that machine, you can cut a 5 by 5 Baltic birch panel that so many people buy 5-foot by 10-foot machines just for that application. You don't have to. Our standard 4 by 8 in the IS series accommodates that. All right, this machine actually has pop-up pins, which is an option on the IS series. And if you notice where they're located, they basically locate a 6-foot wide panel in the center correctly. So we have a much larger table, but we actually position it automatically with pop-up pins. Now, you might notice I have something in my hand, so I'm sitting here remotely and I'm controlling the machine, and that happens to be our wireless pendant that we have at ShopSabre CNC. So I can do a whole lot of things with this. Now, you might worry about, okay, what if I forget to put the pins down? Well, guess what? When you turn the spindle on, they automatically go down. So when a program turns the spindle on, those pins automatically go down. So that's a really nice feature. I would certainly have that on my machine personally. How many times have you wished you could control the machine remotely? Well, you can with our handheld controller. So if I'm doing a setup on the back end of the machine, I can actually position it right there. That's a tremendous feature. Okay, now let's look at the spindle on this machine. This is an HST spindle. We offer them in 5, 9, 10, and 12 horsepower. But I want you to look at how this is mounted. You'll notice some real fancy brackets here. All right, those are mounted on both sides of the spindles. Those are stiffeners. So those in conjunction with this back plate really stiffen that up. So that gives you a better cut at the motor. Once again, this is a product of what you get when you utilize finite element analysis. There's another feature on here too that I really like, and that is we have a balancing cylinder. Now here's what that does. Think about, you have a ball screw that turns and the ball nut moves up and down, and it supports all of this weight. So if you don't have that, you constantly have that weight on the ball screw. The cylinder balances that, so it counteracts the mass of the spindle itself, so it makes your ball screw last a whole lot longer. Okay, now one thing that we added to this machine that's really, really nice is a virtually indestructible tool touch-off system. Let me show you how that works. We simply hit a button on the control. The tools move down. It actually trips the switch twice, so mathematically it counts everything, and it's done. And if you should accidentally damage that switch, that little white plastic tip is very inexpensive. You know, the nickel test is a pretty good testament to how well this machine's made. Our design criteria when we started with the IS series was to create what we call a machine tool grade CNC router. And I think we did a great job of accomplishing that, and I think the nickel test proves that. You know, I always tell people, never sell American ingenuity short, because this is what can be done in an American-made machine and at a price that's very competitive. If you need more information, you can go to our website, www.shopsabre.com. Thank you very much.